Well, hello there, folks. I really, genuinely do hope you're all well. One and all, I really do. Just a quick announcement to all subscribers, viewers in general, and those that just pop along from time to time. By the way, in fact, this is part of the announcement. Let me excuse the attire. You're going to be getting used to this for the next couple of weeks, and I'm going to tell you why. This is all about the announcement. Right. As of Friday, I'm away on my jollies. I'm away for a couple of weeks in that there sunny, what did old Lynch used to call it? Tenerife. Tenerife, I'm off to Tenerife. I like it there. Never used to, but I've got to over the last few years. So I'm away at the weekend. Well, I'm away on Friday actually. We're on Wednesday today. So you're going to get used to me over the couple of weeks I'm away in one of these. I'm not going to get the breasts out for anybody. I'm not going to be naked from the waist up, I promise you that. But I won't be having shirts on and t-shirts because it's going to be too warm. So I'm going to be in these, so apologies there. Right, I'm away on Friday. I'm away for a couple of weeks. I'm still looking at speaking to one and all over that period. But I'm going to do a totally different service. What I'm probably looking at doing is releasing one video, probably longer video, so it might bore some people. Many of you might not want to know, but many of you might listen to it. That'd be up to yourselves. Possibly one video at either about 4:30 or 6:30 daily. I've not worked out yet which is the best time for me to do it. If anybody wants to watch it and would prefer an 4:30 or an 6:30, let me know in the comments. And if I get 4 or 5 people just asking for one set time, that's the one I'll go for. But I'm looking at doing probably one video, but I might cover a range of subjects. So where I'd normally do 6 or 7 videos per day, I don't think I'll cover that many subjects because I don't think I'll have the time on my hands to do all the research I'd normally do. And I don't think, it's not just a time thing, I don't think I'll have access to all the avenues I use to get information. So it might be on 1 or 2 subjects a day, it might be on 4 or 5 subjects a day. What I'll probably do in each instance is probably leave the sport till the end of it and start with everything else in general. Because I think I've got as many ladies on it as I have gentlemen. And I'll leave the sport later for probably, I know ladies follow sports as well, but I would imagine the sports side are followed more by the gents in the main. So that's probably what I'll do. I'm not 100% certain yet. I'll be looking at doing probably 1 a day. There might be the odd time I'll do 2 or 3, but I'll probably be looking at 1. And what I'm also going to do whilst I'm there, I'm going to Tenerife. I'm going to a place called Costa Adeje. I think I've said it right, but I don't know. I'm probably going to do a daily, do they call it a vlog? I don't know what they call it, these videos. I think they have vlogs. And let people know where I've been the night previous and where I'm going the night of the video. For those that go to Tenerife anyway and like Tenerife, because there's lots of people go to Tenerife and there's lots of people like myself that have YouTube channels that do things on Tenerife. And I've got a different take on many of the people. I mean, there's Rick and Shelley there, there's Scotsman in Tenerife, there's the Map Master, and there's others. And they often recommend places, but I've found a few gems when I've been there myself in the past that none of them seem to mention. They're the kind of places I'll be going again, and I'll give people a running report. And if anybody sees this that goes to Tenerife, maybe you can check them out further down the line. That'd be up to yourself. Now, where I stay in Tenerife, I've been there for probably 3 of the last 4 years. I've started to go to Tenerife more pretty regular over the last few years. But over the years, I've probably stayed in it 6 or 7 times. It's a wonderful apartment, it really is. As I say wonderful, it's a wonderful location. The location's brilliant. It's an apartment of a friend, but it's very, I think my old teacher used to call it antiquae. I think that means it's like very, very old and not very modern. But because it's a friend of a friend, we get out the right money and the location's brilliant, so we go there. It's an apartment that's never had internet before. I had a bit of a disagreement with a friend of mine last year. I was telling the person, there's no internet in it. I'm in the apartment, and they said, there's internet everywhere now. You don't go apartments and hotels anymore with no internet. I said, I'm telling you now, there's no internet in here. There never has been. It's an absolute nightmare. There's a community internet. If you go down into the foyer, you can get on it there. I work with a laptop. I'm not going back into a foyer to sit in a foyer talking to you or anybody else. I'd feel like a right plum. I'll do anything from in my room, me. And there's never been internet. It's been a nightmare. This year, I've been promised they've put internet in the room. I've been asking for it for years. I believe it's in there. When we paid the money for the apartment 10 days ago, I've never met the lady that we hired it off before. The other half, the wife's always dealt with it. I actually went to her house to drop the money off. And my first question was, can I just ask, I've been told there's internet there. Is there really? Oh yes, there is. Is it fast and is it good? Oh yes, it's great, no problem at all. I said, brilliant. I said, yearly I moan that there's no internet. I said to the wife only last year, I'm never coming in here again. I need internet. And she tells me you had it in. She said, no, it's in there, it's fine. So as long as it's fine, I'm going to be sending out a bit of content on a daily basis. If it doesn't work, I'm not. So it's going to be different for a couple of weeks. I go away on Friday. I think I'm away for about 15 days. I think I come back on a Saturday. So on that Saturday or Sunday, possibly the Sunday, probably more likely the Monday, I'll be back to normal with 6 or 7 a day because it's what I do. I'm going to miss you all. I hope many of you that follow the channel see this, but you probably won't because it's got no big thumbnail in it. YouTube doesn't push it. So unless you actually look for it as viewers, you're not going to see it. What I would suggest any of you do that I'd like to see what I do while I'm away. Many of you have subscribed anyway and I appreciate it greatly. But click the old the notification thing. Is that the bell? I think it's the bell. Click the bell and it'll let you know when my thing's going to come out on a daily basis. There's probably, as I say, only going to be 1 a day, probably maximum 2. But that way you won't miss them as they come out. And I hope you don't mind the format I'm going to do it in. But it is going to be 5 or 6 different subjects. So if there's anything within there that you like, you may have to wait for the bit that interests you. So for that reason, I'm sorry, but it's the only way I can do it. I don't know that I've got the time to do 5, 6 or 7 different shorts and get them all up there and download them all and do all that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But I do want to keep something going whilst I'm away, so that's my idea. Hope you're okay with it all. Hope while I'm away everybody's okay. Hope everybody has a good time. Hope the weather stays alright for you. It's alright at the moment. And I do hope when we get back in, is it late September I come back, it'll still be reasonably okay. And that's basically it. Thanks very much for listening. Please get used to the old vests over the next couple of weeks. I am sorry if I'm going to look a bit rough, but I am. You're not going to get me in shirts and certainly not shirt, tie or suits because it's going to be warm. It's going to be a warmin'. But the flip side is you're not going to get the breasts out neither. So don't worry on that score, folks. There'll be none of that. You'd move away in droves. I promise you that. You really would. Anyway, hope you all have fun while I'm away.